Welcome, everybody. My name is John Douglas, and I wanted to guide you around Tom Woods' Liberty Classroom, the history and the economics that they didn't teach you in school, specifically public school. So, anyways, I thought I would go through the courses with you real quick, a brief overview of them, and we'll identify who the professor of each course is. So there's 18 different courses in total, and there's going to be more coming. And most of them deal with the history and the economics, mainly from a libertarian point of view. And there's also other. It's not all history and economics, as you can see right here. We got sci-fi, liberty, and dystopia, part 1, and mythology and Western civilization. So it isn't the dull, boring history and economics that you might have learned, or most likely you didn't even learn in your schooling. And the disclaimer I like to throw out is these go so much more in depth, and I've learned so much more from Liberty Classroom that I actually dropped out of college. So, anyways, without further ado, let's get into some of these courses. So the first one we have is Sci-Fi, Liberty and Dystopia, Part 1. We're going to go ahead and click on the box here, and it pulls up the screen. Science Fiction, Liberty and Dystopia, and it's taught by Professor Bradley J. Birzer. And for this one, you got 16 different courses on science fiction, liberty, and dystopia. And what's really cool about Liberty Classroom is down at the bottom here, you could download this whole course as an audiobook, or you could download the audio of this course as a single zip file, and you could bring it anywhere you want. But really, in 2017, you don't even need those functions unless you want them, because if you go ahead and click on any of the topics, you get a video, which you're able to download, and you get an audio file, which you're able to download. And the audio file makes it is brilliant if you're on the go, if you're in your car and you want to learn. Go to Liberty Classroom, click the audio. Or you could even download the audio and have it with you literally wherever you go. And then the videos are also awesome if you're at home. It's a more traditional method of schooling. So that we go on to the second course, which is Mythology and Western Civilization. This one is also taught by Professor Brad Birzer. And as you can see, he goes through mythology and Western civilization in a bunch of different courses, and he covers some of the most important figures pertaining to mythology. Next course is The President's Best and Worst. This one is taught by Professor Brian McClanahan. And 22 lectures on the presidents, the worst ones and the best ones. And the next course is History of Economic Thought, Part 1. And I forgot to mention with the Sci-Fi, Liberty, and Dystopia, Part 1, whenever you see a Part 1 of a given course, Part 2 is on its way. Now, there's no way to tell exactly when it will come, but just know that because each professor is different, but it's on its way. So this one, History of Economic Thought, Part 1, Classical Economics and the Marginal Revolution. This one is taught by Dr. Robert Murphy. If you guys are unaware of who Bob Murphy is, you need to go check him out. He's one of my favorite Austrian economists that is alive today. So the next course is How Freedom Settled the West. This one, again, taught by Professor Brad Birzer. And, as we're going through these classes, some of the lectures and the lessons are relatively short, while others are long. This one is a shorter one. It's only 14 different lectures, and that's still really 14 lectures. If you think about that in college, that's like a whole semester's worth, or just a little bit less of a semester's worth of knowledge. And when we go over the price, you'll see that it's way cheaper than college. So we go on to Conservatism and Libertarianism. This one's taught by Professor Jason Jewell. As you can see, this one's a longer one, 30 lectures. And now each of these lectures will vary in length depending on the professors, whatever the professor wanted to do, but most of the lectures will be in between 30 minutes and an hour long. So now we have History of Political Thought Part 2. This one is taught by Professor Jared Casey. And this one, as you can see, is divided into different subjects, which will contain different sets of lectures. So let's say you only wanted to know about John Locke. You could scroll down, listen to these 4 lectures, and you will have a much more thorough understanding of John Locke as a person and how he contributed to the history of political thought. And as you can see in this one, this is a huge course right here. 58 lectures divided up into all these interesting topics such as classical anarchists, war in the state, the 20th century, gets into Ayn Rand and Hayek and Rothbard and Rawls, all tons of great, just wonderful information, and it's not, they talk about Marx too. They'll talk about people who weren't friends of liberty, but definitely need to do that to explain it. So in the next course, so you get a really thorough background of whatever you're trying to learn. And really, as a disclaimer, I said at the beginning of the video, these lectures go so in depth, and it's so cheap compared to the price of college. I literally dropped out of college, among other reasons, but this is one of the reasons. So what's wrong with textbook economics? Professor Jeff Herbener is going to read this, and he's going to be reading the Paul Samuelson and William Nordhaus Economics, the 19th edition. And he goes through and just utterly destroys textbook economics. Very useful if you are in college still and in that econ class, a micro and macro econ that everyone takes. I think they're general courses, actually. So even if you're not a business or econ major, I still think you have to take those. And what do you know? It's just lies, basically. But anyways, the American Revolution, a constitutional conflict. Now, this one doesn't have a professor up at the top. I haven't listened to this one yet. I am not struggling, but I'm trying to pound through all of them as quick as possible. But you can only go so quick. So actually, I don't know who is the professor on these. It's very possible that it's a bunch of different professors. That's some of the courses you'll see that they'll actually, each lesson is taught by a different professor. So we got the History of Political Thought Part 1 again, just like the History of Political Thought Part 2. This is taught by Jared Casey. And this is like really, really prehistoric knowledge here. Thomas Aquinas, all these. And still, this one is 42 lectures long. The other one was almost 60, I think, or whatever it was. So you're getting so much information here. It's like an information overload. That the one downside that I would say, if there is a downside of this, is that it's just so much information you don't know where to start. So we got Keynes, an overview and critique. This is taught by Professor G.P. Manish. And this one, 32 different lectures on, all these Keynesian theories and, just why they're wrong, why his system is full of fallacies and all that good stuff. Good economic knowledge that a lot of people really don't know. So the U.S. constitutional history, this was just as I was mentioning how some classes have a different professor for each lecture. This one is done by Kevin Gutzman and Brian McClanahan. For most of it, sometimes Tom Woods himself will appear, not in this course though. So this course is still 30 lectures, and you're getting two different professors' perspectives on the U.S. constitutional history, which is, it's really, really cool. It's something you don't get in college. In college, you're stuck with one professor, whether you like him or not. Well, not at Liberty Classroom. At Liberty Classroom, you're at liberty to decide who you want to teach, depending on the certain class, obviously. So we got Introduction to Logic. This is one of the shorter ones, just By looking, I would say it's about 15 to 20 different courses taught, again, by Professor Jared Casey. Austrian Economics, Step by Step. This one is taught by Jeff Herbener, and it gets into all the nitty-gritty details of Austrian economics and free market capitalism, basically, laissez-faire. And this one is about 35 lectures, and they're divided up into different sections. So if you already know the scope and method of economics, you go ahead and skip to 2 or 3 if you want to. And then we have U.S. history up to 1877. This one, again, is taught by multiple professors, namely Brian McClanahan, Thomas E. Woods, who is the founder of Liberty Classroom, and Kevin Gutzman will teach this. And this is a long course as well, and it's only up to 1877. So there's obviously a sister course, which is the U.S. history since 1877. And this one is taught mostly by Tom Woods, but you also have Tooley for a lecture. You have Bean for a couple of lectures. And Brian McClanahan and Kevin Gutzman come back as well, as you'll be familiarized with them in the first class, U.S. history up to 1877. Then the last 2 classes on Liberty Classroom thus far are Western Civilization up to 1500, taught again by Professor Jason Jewell. This one is a lengthy class as well. 42 different lectures, all on Western Civilization up to 1500. And then, of course, you have that sister class, which is Western Civilization since 1500, again taught by Professor Jason Jewell. And this one is 42 additional lectures on Western Civilization since the 1500s. Guys, like I said, this could not get any better. I don't think there's any deal that you could get that'd be better on learning history and economics, among other things, from a greater group of professors at a cheaper price. Frankly, I don't think it exists. So I'm going to talk about the prices real quick, and I will have additional information on additional videos if you would like to check them out. They will be linked below. So the basic membership is a basic membership to Liberty Classroom, and the normal price is $119 for all of that. You get a year's access for $119. Find me. I want you to comment below this and find me a college education that is cheaper than that, because it doesn't exist. And for whatever reason, the day that I am recording this, today's is only $89 today. So if you hurry up and go enroll as a basic member now, the price is only going to be $89. I do not know how long this offer is going to last, but the basic membership includes all the audio and the video of every existing Liberty Classroom course, and it will also include all additional courses that will be added during the term of your membership. And also, each of the lectures has recommended readings and resources such as syllabuses and study guides to accompany the course. Get access to all of that as well. You know, it's college on the go and by professors that really, really know what they're talking about. Now, the Basic Plus plan, the normal price is $149, but the deal's going on. If you hurry up and get it while this deal is still going, it's only $119. And the Basic Plus membership, it includes 1 year access to all the audio and video, all additional courses, recommended readings. Also, what's really cool is you get a Q&A form where you can get your questions answered by our expert faculty. I will show you that in another video. And also you get the monthly live sessions, which our faculty take place to discuss issues on your screen in real time. Really cool. But there's one more course. This is the best value, the master course. The only difference between the master course and the basic plus course is the lifetime access to Liberty Classroom. So you will be a lifetime member. You will always get the additional courses that are ever created as long as the site is in existence. And also, the special bonus, you get the 435 audio/video lessons on government and history that Tom Woods created for the Ron Paul homeschool curriculum. This is not offered to the Basic or Basic Plus members, and separately, these lessons cost $250. Now, the Tom Woods, the Ron Paul homeschool curriculum bonus that you get with this is, more. It's mostly for, younger kids, as it's a homeschool program, but it's also just brilliant information. You're gonna learn a lot that you didn't know. Especially if you went to public school, and my public school especially had a very, very lax and just lackadaisical history department. I didn't really learn that much, so I know that I would benefit from this. You would benefit too. And the normal price is $597, but the deal's still going on as the day I'm recording this. So if you hurry up and go, you could get the lifetime membership for only $497. Again, that's only $500, $600 at most. Find me a college that provides this kind of value for that cheap of a price, and I guarantee you can't. This is with all 18 courses, and they're going to be adding more as time goes on. It's literally the best deal when it comes to education. All the lectures are college, they're taken from a college course basically, and they're put on the internet for a super cheap price. So I would go ahead, and if I were you, I would buy it. I've bought it. As you can see, I'm a member. I'll link to the other videos I have where I talk a little bit more in depth about the professors and the blog and the frequently asked questions, all the forums, all of that stuff will be in additional videos. So make sure you check it out. And there will also be a link to Liberty Classroom. If you go ahead and click that, it'll bring you right to the page where you could buy. So I hope you make the right decision. And if this is something that interests you, there's no better deal, I don't think, that exists or has ever existed in all of history than Tom Woods' Liberty Classroom. So you're going to want to head, if you are interested, click the link at the bottom of the video and, start learning the real history and the real economics that the state didn't want you to know.